Hello, welcome back. I'm on Java again. This time it's on Java NBT data. So Java NBT data is quite different. It allows you to get things like this or this, which in Bedrock you cannot normally get. This is because I've already done /give and a few other NBT. This is because there's a much larger range to it, because they're changing the attribute of an item rather than or a mob or something like when you summon the overpowered TNT /summon, you're giving yourself a changed attribute rather than a set list of things. And as a result, it's changing the power of these things and affecting how all of this works. For example, that changed the attribute. Now there is a command for this, exclusive to Java, and it's called /attribute. And this changes anything, but if you notice, it doesn't change something. That's because everything's got an effect, everything's got an attribute. And TNT, for example, has explosion power and fuse. They're the key parts, along with a load of other bits of code that change how it works. These items, all items have an attribute called a name. I'll give myself a named item. Name, custom. There we go. Item name equals. You need that for that. So item name equals fish, and then it gives you fish. That's got an attribute called a name to it. It's called item name, as you can see. But when you look at these, they also have enchantments, which is when you do /give. I'll go sick again. Sorry. And this is everything. This is all the things it's part of. You can change player attributes, you can change all sorts. And that is why NBT data works, because it has attributes to them. Whereas in Bedrock, it's a specific list of things like can break and can be placed on. It's a very different system of NBT data. Well, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you've learned something. Sorry I'm a little vague. I understand this. But I'm not great at explaining it. I will see you next week, where I will explain why it works from the code aspect, using what little coding I know. I'm not the most knowledgeable for coding, I'm not going to lie, but I do know how the very basis of this works, and I will give you an example of how it will work, not the guaranteed way it does work. I'm not going to look into the game's code itself. It won't be the language I'll be covering, but I will go into the basic principles, and all code languages are the same. They just have different something called syntax, which is the necessity for how coding works. Well, I'll see you next episode.